Today we are talking about the holiday blues. Are they real? Do we combat them? Is it bad? What's going on? Why am I feeling down during the holiday season? I'm supposed to be so happy. Isn't it Christmas? Well, it's not quite Christmas yet. We are in the middle of Advent. We are still in the middle of trying to fast, trying to prepare for Christmas, trying to prepare our hearts really for the birth of Christ so that Christ can be born in our hearts as well. Well, how do we deal with them? How do we deal with the holiday blues? There's a few different ways. The first way, I found this nice little article. I'll put a link to it. It was called 9 Ways to Manage the Holiday Blues, but it comes from a Catholic website, a Catholic Family Service, which is a really nice article. And it just gives 9 very practical reasons or 9 very practical things we can do to really help combat those holiday blues. Now, remember, this is different from if you're experiencing clinical depression, if you're experiencing something a little bit more serious or a little bit more concerning where you're not able to function, you're not able to get out of bed, you're not feeling like yourself, you're not able to get your normal work done. That can be really, really hard. So that I always recommend talk to a friend, talk to a family member, talk to a doctor, and see if you might not need a little bit of extra help or therapy during the holidays, and that's fine. But if you're experiencing the general blues where you're feeling kind of down, you're feeling like things aren't going your way, and you just don't know why you can't get. A lot of people say you can't get into the spirit of the season. There's some very practical ways, which I thought, this is pretty nice. This is true. There's a lot of truth to these. The first way, let's get into these. There's 9 of them. The first way is limit your alcohol intake. I think that's great advice. The article says limit your alcohol intake and try not to keep it readily available around the house. If you're attending a party and you know alcohol will be accessible, limit yourself to 1 to 2 drinks. Drinking in excess can affect your mood and amplify any negative feeling that you may have. This is very true. Now, alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. It will bring you down. A lot of people say, alcohol just helps loosen you up. But what you got to ask yourself is, how do you feel as you are sobering up? It's not so much while you're drinking. Everybody usually feels pretty relaxed and mellow while they're initiating their alcohol consumption. It is going to help you relax. But as you're withdrawing from alcohol, as the alcohol is coming out of your system, what does it do? Well, a lot of people will say, well, Dr. Sandoval, how come somebody's happy drunk? Or they say they're a mean drunk, or they say they're, take your pick. Alcohol does different things to different people. The reality is it's whatever is already underlying, whatever is already there, whatever is in the mood, as the alcohol is coming out of your system and your system's trying to detoxify, it just amplifies that. And so if you're already feeling depressed, if a lot of people are turning to alcohol too as therapy to help numb their emotions and their feelings, the hard part is, as the alcohol might work in the beginning, but as you're coming off of it, as the body's processing it, it will heighten your moods, whatever was already there underlying it. So if you are sad, it might make you more sad. If you are already angry or frustrated with something, well, it might amplify that as well. So definitely limiting the alcohol intake is a great recommendation. The other reason is just for practical reasons. During the holidays, people tend to drink more. Well, we know that law enforcement is much more aware of that as well, and they're going to set up either alcohol checkpoints or something along those lines. Probably the worst thing you could ever get is a DUI or something along those lines, especially during the holiday season. They're expensive. It's a lot to go through. I know lots of people who've gone through it, and it's ruined careers before, especially if you have a license or something. This is where all my friends always know if I'm at a party, if I have somewhat of a drink, it won't even be much because, gosh, if I'm going to drive, I definitely don't even want to touch it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to, get into a legal situation where it's going to affect your family, your friends. It's just not something to consider. So limiting alcohol is good for different reasons. There's so many practical reasons, just in terms of legal ramifications. But really, as far as the mood, the holiday blues, the alcohol can make it worse or heighten it. The second thing it says, get plenty of sleep. This is very true. It says, try to go to bed at a specific time each night. Being well rested can improve your mood and help you feel ready to take on the day. Well, this is true. And this is especially important during the holiday season. Sleep is something that I recommend people monitor. Getting plenty of sleep, it sounds so cliche. Well, Dr. Sandoval, of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but how many times do we say, oh, I got to stay up because I need to decorate. I need to do these extra things. And we, instead of helping ourselves out, we, cut into our sleep time. That can be challenging. not just because you're going to be tired the next day, but it can really throw off your system. If you're already experiencing the holiday blues, it can amplify them as well. Why? Because when the brain is not well rested, we're not thinking as clearly, and we're not as able to to rationalize our emotions and to really have more of a resiliency when it comes to the variability in our emotions, and really makes it so that we are more vulnerable. We're not going to feel quite as well. But the other big reason I say to get plenty of sleep or to go to bed at a specific time is because it's great to monitor your sleep. That's actually one of the first signs when you start thinking about, am I feeling depressed? Am I not? Getting good sleep, monitoring your sleep is a great sign. How do you know? Because, gosh, am I sleeping well? Am I not sleeping well? If I'm not sleeping well, why is that? Gosh, I haven't changed anything in my life, but now I can't seem to get to bed. I'm just restless every night. I really am having trouble sleeping. Now, a lot of people will come and say, Doc, I'm having trouble sleeping. And I ask, well, how many nights, in a month, how many nights do you get poor sleep? About 2 to 3. That's pretty normal. 2 to 3 nights in a month. Everybody's that's just kind of being human. We go through different things. But if you're saying, I haven't been able to sleep for the last week, I'm so tired, and I don't know why, nothing's changed. Yeah, it's something. Now it's time to ask ourselves what's going on. I've had 2 weeks where I can't sleep, and we really need to ask ourselves what's going on. How's it affecting your life? How's it affecting your mood? And is it something a little bit more to consider than just the holiday blues? Sleep is a good indicator. If there is something underlying, well, then we got to talk about the source. I broke up with my boyfriend and it's the holidays and I'm going to be alone and it sucks to be alone during the holidays. Okay, well, we have a source. We might have to wait it out, but we'll see. Sleep is a good indicator. Keep that in mind. Just monitor that. The next item says learn to say no. That's a good one. Overscheduling and not making time for yourself can lead to emotional breakdowns. Learn how to say no and stay firm on your decision. That's actually a great one because, it's tough to say no. We don't want to look like the bad guy. We don't want to look like, we don't want to make people feel bad when we say no to things. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? That's great. But not saying no to people sometimes is saying no to ourselves. If we know that we need to rest, if we know that we need to take care of other things, are we stretching ourselves thin, as we say? Are we overscheduling, overreaching? That can be challenging. So learning how to say no, the hard part of that is we feel like we let people down. And all of a sudden we're not seen as somebody who's nice or reliable. And guess what? That's okay. You know what you're going to realize? If you say no to something, it's not that people aren't going to, think about you or anything like that. It's one, people are probably going to respect your time because they realize that you do. And you're going to realize that just because you said no to something, it's not like you're not going to get many other requests for multiple things. There's always something to do. There's always something to, that's going to come our way that we can always say no or yes to. The hard part is when you're always saying yes, people find you very reliable and they're going to want to keep, sending things your way. So that can be a bit of a challenge. Number 4, be open to new traditions. You may have an image of what you think the holiday should consist of, and this may not be what's actually happening. Instead of holding on to what the holiday should have been, allow new traditions to unfold. And this is what we were talking about earlier. If you're used to having certain traditions during the holidays, but this year that's not going to be possible, the real question is, are we holding on to those traditions as a source of our happiness? Or should those traditions be there because we are happy? I think that happiness should come first, and then that's what our traditions are sourced out of. If we put our emotions, our hopes onto traditions, which are nice to look forward to, if we do that, then when the traditions change, or if we're not able to do that year, then we're set up for saying, well, then I can't be happy because the tradition didn't happen. It should be the other way around. I should hopefully find some joy in my heart and then follow that into creating a tradition. Now, being open to new traditions is what's important. If we can keep our focus on, gosh, those are nice traditions. I hope that we can do that every year. We can try to do that again next year. But this year, we're going to do something a little bit different. But let's still be joyful about that. Let's still and realize that we're together. What's important? Are we with each other? Are we in a nice place? Are we celebrating each other's victories during the year? And are we also, mourning with each other for our losses? Are we truly having a friendship within our family, so to speak? That's really what builds traditions.